New Zealand loses first Navy ship to sea since World War II.
That is actually something of a triumph, frankly.
What? How?
It ran aground on a reef, so it ran a reef, I guess.
Oh, what a major fuck up.
Yeah, and the captain
makes
it even funnier because she was a friend of Dorothy.
Dorothy wasn't a lesbian.
Yeah, no, friend of Dorothy means gay. I think it means gay man.
Oh, why? Because you like Broadway and shit.
I don't know, but it's the start of a YouTube video, so I'm trying to avoid the L word.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Breaking. Friend of Dorothy, New Zealander captain, says, I don't know what went wrong. The ship handles nothing like a Subaru Forester. Breaking. New Zealander crew stunned just minutes before sinking as lesbian captain announces all hands on dick. Okay, obviously these articles are bullshit. I inspect elemented them. It's fake news.
You're going to have to explain to our non-Australian viewers here why the dick thing is so funny.
Well, because New Zealanders are retarded and they say deck like dick. They say six like sex. Fush and chops is fish and chips. And they're just annoying.
And dick is dick.
Anyway, if you're from New Zealand, don't take offence, I guess, or do. I don't care.
Yeah, we love you, bro.
So we're going to have a closer look at this story. Let's go! Yeah, so the story is, right, there's this New Zealand Navy vessel. And here's the funny thing, right? This vessel specialised in mapping the seafloor. And they ran aground, right? And it's so fucking slapstick that not only did they run aground, they hit a reef, then it caught fire, then it capsized and sank. It's like, how could it be any worse? It could only be worse if it like slipped on a banana peel and shat itself at the same time.
Looney Tunes shit, yeah.
And so the big question here is this the ship that DEI sunk? You don't know what DEI is, do you?
No.
Diversity, equity and inclusion.
Yeah, I could have fucking gone a lot longer not knowing what that meant.
So New Zealand's got this big thing about, oh my God, look how many women captains we've got. We're promoting women because diversity, inclusion, equity, etc.
So they gave her a bloody navigation vessel. She couldn't even handle that.
No.
They wouldn't give her a battleship though, would they?
I don't think they have any battleships. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out.
What kind of navy is this?
It's the New Zealand Navy. They've only got 9 ships. Yeah, so it just makes it so much funnier that it was a chick and it was a lesbian. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. It just does. It's like that episode of The Office where Angela gives birth.
Yeah.
Remember how Kevin reacts?
Ah! Angela had the baby!
Is it black? Because that would be hilarious.
Why?
You know.
Would it be more hilarious than Angela having a Chinese baby?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it just is funnier. Here's the gist of it. This is from REUTERS or REUTERS or Reuters, I don't know.
I can confirm at 6:40 a.m. today, the ship was listing heavily and smoke was visible from a ship. At 9 a.m, it was known to have capsized and is now below the surface. At this stage, the exact cause of the grounding is unknown, and this will need further investigation.
Pause! Do you reckon they spoke to this commander? I reckon they did.
Of course they did. They want to protect their image.
Yeah, so the question would have been asked, like, what happened? Did you, like, lose power? Were you attacked? You know, it's like, oh, we don't know why. We have no idea why. I think they do have an idea why.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not saying it. They do allude to it later, but in a funny way. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I can confirm there were 75 people on board at the time the ship ran aground, including 7 civilians from scientific agencies and 4 foreign military personnel.
There will obviously be an inquiry, a court of inquiry, to establish exactly what caused this incident. And I look forward to pinpointing the cause.
Incident. Pun pointing.
She looks forward to pinpointing the point.
Then we'll go and have some fucking chops.
And a pint. She looks forward to it. She looks lesbianic too. She looks like borderline lesbianic too. She's in on it. There's a lesbian conspiracy going on in the New Zealand Navy.
Anyway.
So that we can learn from it and avoid a repeat. The immediate focus right now is on mitigating the environmental impacts and salvaging what is left of the Manawanui.
The Manawanui.
Come on, it's a New Zealand native term.
Yeah. If it was an Australian ship, it'd be like called the Chakabaka
The Ula Wula Wala Lungata.
Yeah. New Zealand shit's all like hula bula bala bula bula mila wula wala.
Oh my God. Sorry.
The main thing is nobody lost their lives, and that is That is actually something of a triumph, frankly, given the very, very difficult circumstances.
Is it a triumph? See, she's trying to paint it as this like big triumphant thing.
Yeah.
This is awesome. We like lost this $100 million ship, but no one died.
Yeah.
That's such a fucking chick cope.
We don't know why the ship crashed, but luckily no one died.
Like imagine you went out and totaled your car and you came back and you said, oh, listen, the car's fucked. It's a wreck. It's got to be scrapped. But the positive thing is no one died. I go, bitch, that's not a positive thing. I mean, I'm glad you didn't die, but it's not a positive thing the car's fucked.
I wouldn't crash the car. I've got a stellar record.
Oh, bullshit. See, we have this argument all the time.
Fuck
We
you.
shockingly backseat drive each other,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah.
Whenever you're driving, you're going to kill us. We're going to get in a crash any second. Why aren't you looking 3 cars ahead? You're braking too late.
You're moving too much to the right.
And when I drive, she fucking does the imaginary brakes.
Yeah.
She pumps the brakes in the fucking passenger seat.
Yeah, he's a hazardous breaker, this one.
I am not.
Brakes at the last
I
fucking
do not. I brake
millisecond.
super duper early.
Oh, no, you don't.
I'm a brake pad saver.
No, you don't.
Anyway, so this is the theme the New Zealand press is going with. So the New Zealand press is like, oh my God, our ship's fucked. This is like an embarrassment. We look like fucking idiots. Ex-Royal Navy commander praised for saving lives after New Zealand naval ship sinks. Now that's a funny way of wording it. Because it says ex-Royal Navy commander, and I thought, whoa, have they already exed her?
Yeah.
But she was actually in the British Navy. She's British, and she moved to New Zealand.
Oh.
Yeah. So rather than finding some New Zealand chick to crash this ship,
Yeah. They got a foreigner.
they got a foreigner. I think Malcontent said that. I watched his video on this. You should go watch that. Captain's decision to abandon HMNZS Manawanui saved lives. Oh, she's a fucking hero. Commander of HMNZS Manawanui credited with saving lives after ship ran aground on Samoan reef in dead of night. The commanding officer whose order to abandon ship is being praised for saving lives. She crashed a $100 million ship.
In the dead of night. What is this, the fucking Titanic? Was it
Yeah.
like a tiny little bit of the reef was poking out of the top, but she didn't contemplate that the big part of the reef was underneath? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So they'll do the inquiry into this, and I bet it will be some bloke's fault. It'll be like, well, the guy who gave us the charts didn't tell us about the fucking reef. I mean, even though our ship's designed to map the sea floor, this guy gave us faulty info. What fucking dickhead man left this reef here?
It was the men in the coal room. The bastards, they didn't shovel enough coal enough for us to turn fast enough.
Yeah, so she's being praised. Now imagine if this was some dude. It'd be man fucks up, loses Navy ship, now there's gonna be oil spills, the environment's fucked, global warming, sexism, fucking everything. Everything's fucked because of this guy. So anyway, this is the captain, Captain Yvonne Gray, and she's an ex-teacher. And she wanted to join the Navy so she could do her 8 or 9 years, and apparently after that they get a payout. It's like 50 grand or something.
Oh yeah, pay for your education and everything.
Yeah. And so she was going to become a restaurateur. So she was a teacher and she was just going to do a stint in the Navy. Then she wanted to open a restaurant. But the Navy said, hang on, here's a ship. And here's the funny thing, right? The New Zealand Navy is all like gung-ho about like, oh my God, we've got so many women. Look how diverse we are. This is from, oddly enough, the Australian Naval Institute.
Sorry, just before you go on. Wasn't it an old like seaman's myth back in the day that if you had a woman on the ship, it was bad luck?
That's another good headline. Navy ship commander panics at thought of handling large hard object full of seamen. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is from the Australian Naval Institute. It says women leaders in Royal New Zealand Navy. For the Royal New Zealand Navy, the 2023 International Women's Day offers more reasons to celebrate than most. It coincides with not only the highest percentage of women ever in the RNZN, 27.4%, but the largest number of women taking command of RNZ... I'm sick of saying that. The fucking Navy, ships and shore units, with 4 in command of ships and 3 in command of shore units. So here's those 4 commanders they were talking about. Now this here is Yvonne Gray, and this one here, I forget her name, but she crashed a ship too.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, she crashed a ship like last year. Look at this. Hull damaged as New Zealand warship berths in high winds. So that was her.
Oh, there you go. That's the reason why they don't have any more warships. She fucking got rid of the last one.
Well, I don't know how many warships they've got, but probably not many. They've got 9 ships, for God's
They've
sake.
got fucking none now.
So this is just a really funny story. Anyway, I mentioned Malcontent before, right?
Yeah.
He did a video, and I'm lifting this from his video, so I'll give him credit. This guy, John A. Conrad, he's like a naval journalist or something, maritime journalist. He did a tweet yesterday, and it's off the charts, male feminist. He says, I interviewed a female veteran who served as an officer on American ships about this incident, and she shared an intriguing perspective I've never heard before. She said that it took men centuries and thousands of shipwrecks to master commanding ships without major incidents, and we should expect some losses as women who think differently, learn the ropes and gain that experience too, doing it their way. She said losses are to be expected, and they are okay, especially if there's no loss of life. She said we shouldn't try to investigate this from a male perspective, but learn lessons from a female perspective. See what I mean? So if it was a dude, it'd be like investigation. We're doing an inquiry into this, which, to be fair, they are doing.
Yeah.
But I think they'll go softly on her. Like he says, they'll try to learn lessons from a female perspective, not...
Investigate from a male perspective.
Yeah, so anyway, about the ship itself, right, because this is interesting. The ship itself was built in 2003, and this is it here. It was originally called the Ida Fon, and it was a Norwegian ship. It was a Norwegian ship designed to map the North Sea.
I was going to say, is this pre-paint job?
Yeah.
It's not very intimidating. Actually, they should have done it in rainbow for her. In the Navy.
The New Zealand Navy bought this ship in about 2018, I think. Now, they bought it for 100 million New Zealand dollars, which is apparently about 69 million American dollars. Now, this article here that I found, I forget which website it was, it's like a ship value website, says New Zealand Navy pays $69 for Ostenjo OSV. Norwegian owner set for a huge profit on multi-purpose ship. Norway's Ostenjo Rederi is selling an OSV to the New Zealand Navy for a whopping 103 million New Zealand dollars. Vessel's values the ship at only $19.73 million. So they overpaid by like $50 million.
They sent a chick to go buy the ship, didn't they?
It was her first assignment. Go buy us a ship, then be the commander. So they overpaid for it, then they had to fit it out, like repurpose it, and then it's in service for what, 6 years, 5 years, and she crashes it into a reef and sets it on fire. Somehow. Now, we'll finish up with this. This is from like a New Zealand morning TV show, and it's got that woman who is like New Zealand's defence minister on as a guest.
The Defence Minister wants answers on why one of the Navy's fairly new ships sank near Samoa over the weekend. The HMNZS Manawanui ran aground and caught fire on Saturday night, and just 10 short hours later, it had sunk below the surface. The 75 crew on board were all rescued. The focus now on mitigating any environmental impacts on the nearby reef and coast. Judith Collins has called an inquiry, and the Minister joins us now. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Daniel.
How embarrassing is this?
It's not embarrassing. It's actually, it could have been really a massive tragedy.
It's a triumph. It's not embarrassing at all.
It is fucking embarrassing. What are you talking about?
I mean, we actually planned to scuttle this ship. You know, it was all part of the plan. We wanted to add to the reef. We're environmentalists.
You didn't really like the ship anyway.
It's all about learning. At least everyone had fun.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
It could have been so much worse. I'm just so pleased that they're going to be able to come home, and we're going to wrap some more support around them because they have been through a very challenging time.
And that I understand, but this is a Navy ship that's equipped to map the sea floor and it runs aground, Minister.
He makes a fucking good point, doesn't he?
Hard-hitting questions. I like him.
How's their attitude, though? This is fantastic. What are you talking about? I'm just so glad that everyone survived and they're going to come home and they're going to be like heroes.
Yeah, so it's actually 20 years old, and I say that just to give some context. It was actually built as for that mapping in the North Sea for Norway, but it's now, obviously stuck now on a coral reef.
The way she sort of says it, it's like, well, it was designed to map the North Sea. It wasn't designed for reefs.
Accidental comedy, the way she did it.
We need to find out why that happened. Apparently it lost power. I'm aware of that. And
See, now that is interesting. She says apparently it lost power.
Yeah.
When? When it hit the fucking sea floor?
Yeah.
Of course it lost power.
We don't know when it lost power.
Like, this Minister of Defence is saying, apparently it lost power. Well, did you speak with the commander or not? Has she been, did she say, oh yeah, the power steering went, and then I could hear a fucking squeak from the rear left tyre, and all of a sudden I was swerving all over the fucking sea. Yeah, I just found it interesting how she said, apparently it lost power. Yeah, when? Like, after it was on fire?
You have reason to believe it was a reef-induced power outage.
it ended up aground on the reef. And of course that particular reef was being mapped because it hadn't been mapped since 1987. As you all know, as we know, there's earthquakes, there's been tsunami, there's been all sorts of changes to those reefs. So it is really important that that mapping work does go on.
And who causes earthquakes and tsunamis and global warming? Men.
Yeah. Not Mother Nature.
You mentioned the Norwegian officials. Have you had any communication with them?
Oh no, I don't. I wouldn't be dealing with that. It was once, basically a tender for oil rigs. No, I haven't. And
Do you think we went bargain hunting?
You overpaid by $50 million. No, you didn't go bargain hunting.
That's the thing, though. They probably think that they did get a bargain. I promise you, sweetheart, I'm giving you a bargain. I'm losing out here.
The man at the car yard said it was a great deal.
He's like a car yard shark guy, with like greased, slicked back hair and gold medallion chains around his neck.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it was no doubt a good ship and has done some very useful work. So I don't want to blame the ship at all.
She doesn't want to blame the ship. Who's left to fucking blame?
Yeah, I know. They're just avoiding any accountability for this captain.
Will there be any attempts to recover any parts of the boat?
Well, there may well be. Yes. Okay. So, no, really good question, actually. We've got some naval, some divers were going over yesterday on the new one of the new Hercules.
And we sent the men pilots this time. Anyway, I thought this was funny. The world's talking about it, so I thought we would too. Follow me at Twitter. It's @bear_ing, and we'll see you in the next one. Catch you later. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Recession.